I wanted to come on here today and introduce you to one of my incredible, beautiful, sweet, wonderful clients, Cyndie, who has joined the Nourish Your Temple program. This is a 16-week program that really helps you heal from whatever caused you not to feel worthy of loving yourself and worthy of loving your body. That's something that so many of us women definitely deal with. So I am going to just quickly introduce you to Cyndie by asking, Cyndie, can you share with us, if you can remember, before you joined Nourish Your Temple, what was life like for you? Like, why were you thinking about starting something new, making a change? And if you can just share a little bit about how you were feeling in those days.
I was definitely feeling stuck. It was almost like I didn't know this person in my body anymore, and I just needed to get back to who I was. And as a business owner, as a intuitive, as somebody who um, teaches people to be in touch with their, you know, spiritual side and their emotions and their all their other stuff, it's hard to struggle like that because then you're like, well, how can I teach people if I'm struggling, right? So just kind of getting back to where I used to be, and that definitely didn't happen though. Just putting that out there. Definitely a different person than I was before. Um, but yeah, just kind of trying to figure out who I am again so that I can move forward in my life in a more healthy way.
I love that you said that because I feel like a lot of people will resonate with that, like feeling disconnected, like I don't even know who I am anymore. And a lot of the women in this group and a lot of the women that I've always worked with are mothers. And I don't know if this is something you resonate with, but I felt like in my own journey, I got so wrapped up in motherhood that I wasn't an individual outside of being a mother. I was just so
Yeah.
disconnected. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to hold space for that for a second because I know that a lot of the women who will be watching are also intuitives, are also healers, are also working in this field. They are soul based entrepreneurs. And we can feel like hypocrites when we're working on our own stuff. But what I've come to learn in my journey is that we're supposed to go through this because most of our soulmate clients are other versions of us, versions that we have been in the past, and we can only take our soulmate clients to the depths that we ourselves have gone. So we're meant to go through some of those really, really tough stuff, the seasons of growth, I call them.
Yep. It's so true.
So you're now quite a bit through the program. You're about two-thirds of the way through the program. So can you tell us what was your biggest surprise when you joined Nourish Your Temple and as you've navigated through the lessons, the group coaching calls, the check-ins, the community? What has been your biggest surprise about the program?
How hard it is. Like it's not an easy process. And
Totally.
I came in and I was like, well, I'm already like intuitive. I'm already this. I'm already that. It shouldn't be that much harder. Like I'm gonna learn some things and I'll figure it out. And yeah, no, it's definitely it's definitely harder than I thought it was going to be
Yeah,
emotionally.
absolutely. Well, we do have to take responsibility for our journey, and that's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, now what has been your biggest shift? What is the most that you've taken away from the program so far?
Um, the importance of my time. So before, like you said, as a mom, you go, 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 and it's all for your kids, or it's for your husband, or it's for, whoever else. But it's very rarely ever for just you. And I now um just spend every morning that I can by myself.
Mm.
And so I have Maddox in daycare 3 days a week, depending, sometimes four. And I come home and I sit with my coffee and I will journal, or I will just sit with my kitties, or I'll go for a walk, or I just make it a priority to just be by myself for at least 15 minutes.
I love that. I love that. You guys have heard me preaching the morning ritual for over a decade now. I preach the
Yeah, and
morning
it's never, it doesn't
ritual.
look the same,
That's
right?
right.
It never ever looks the same. But I do consider that my morning ritual because I get up, I take Maddox to daycare, I come home, and I just like sit by myself.
I'm glad you said that because what I witness and observe is that a lot of us will have perfectionism paralysis where we'll skip the morning ritual because we don't know exactly what it's supposed to look like and we don't have all the tools and we're not doing it right. But really, it can be anything as long as you're taking time to yourself in each and every morning. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that so much. It really does set the tune for the day. I know on the days where I'm feeling really rushed and I'm not able to take time for myself, everything seems to go wrong. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on today? Oh, okay. Well, I didn't take time to myself this morning, or I slept in, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, it feels more chaotic.
It does feel more chaotic. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, now thinking back to everything that you've experienced inside of the program, every single one of the calls, every single one of the lessons, all of the readings, all of the group healings, what has been your absolute favorite experience so far?
Um, I think my favorite experience is the people I've met through the
Mhm.
group. I've kind of become close with Kiana and Vivian, and we'll message on Facebook and chat and stuff like that. And like, I'm gonna make Kiana a pendulum, and so it's just those connections that you've built and that you make. It's really special, and I feel a connection to those two. And obviously, like you know why I feel the connection to Kiana, but I'm not exactly sure why Vivian yet. But I'm excited to kind of explore that a little bit more.
Absolutely. Well, and if you're listening, you've probably heard me say this before that I believe that I only work with people that I have shared a past life with. That maybe in past lives you were my mentor, or you were my mother, or you were my husband, or whatever. And in this lifetime, I'm meant to play this role. And if I have shared a lifetime with every single person that I work with, guaranteed you guys have shared lifetimes together as well. So it doesn't surprise me that there's that familiarity and those connections. And I'm so grateful because that's what community is all about, right?
Mhm.
I can see there are some people joining as well. So hello, Shannon. Hello, anybody else who's here with us live. If you have any questions about the Nourish Your Temple program, please drop them down below in the comments because I only have one more question for Cyndie, and then we're going to wrap this up here real quickly. So, Cyndie, last question. If you were talking to somebody who was thinking about joining Nourish Your Temple, but they were on the fence, you know exactly how this feels. Maybe they're not sure if they're worthy of investing in. Maybe they're not sure if they're actually going to complete it, if they're actually going to show up for themselves. Maybe they're nervous about trying something new. Maybe the ego is giving them 10,000 reasons why they shouldn't do it, or how it's selfish to take time or money for themselves. What would you say to them?
Uh, I would say just do it because if you don't invest in yourself, nobody else is going to, right? So you have to be able to take that step in order to move forward. And if you're not moving forward, you're staying still, and what happens to still water, right? So just do it. Just take the leap. Just do it. You can pay weekly if you need to. There's ways to get around money. There's ways to get around motivation. I mean, Jenny, how motivated have I been sometimes to do the stuff. I'm just like, I don't feel it. I don't want to get into it today. I don't want to do it. And then I'm just I like look at the whole thing and I'm like, okay, I'm paying for this. This is for me. I need to get it done. It doesn't matter how I'm feeling. It doesn't matter what's blocking me. My ego can take a back seat right now. This is important and this needs to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you brought up motivation because motivation is fleeting. If we relied on motivation, oh my gosh, we wouldn't get anything done. We're motivated for 1 second and then 3 seconds later, squirrel.
Oh,
Dishes,
that's me totally.
diapers. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And Shannon, I'll send you a message after this for sure. I'll definitely give you details about the Nourish Your Temple program. It's such a beautiful community, and you know, a lot of the women in this community join because they do want to get back to loving themselves and loving their bodies. And maybe they do have body goals, but the feedback that I've gotten so far from these women, Cyndie and the others, is that this is so much more about just the body. It's connecting with our intuition, getting back to ourselves, learning how to move through self-sabotage, and really, really connecting in with the parts of us that we've been ignoring, the parts of us that are feeling wounded and craving that attention. Nobody can give it to us but ourselves, right? This healing journey is really about reparenting our inner child. And again, nobody can do that but ourselves. We can hire healers, we can hire coaches, we can hire mediums and Reiki practitioners and all that jazz, but the only one that can really make any true difference is ourself. And that's what I hope to empower you to do in the Nourish Your Temple program. Cyndie, any last words that you would like to share with anybody who's watching that
Yeah.
you think would be helpful?
Um, yeah, so I did initially join because I was like, I need to get back to myself, but I also want to look better in my, like, I want to feel better in my skin, right? I want to look better. And even though like I haven't done every little thing that you've told me to do, I still feel better. Like physically, I feel better mentally, I feel better emotionally. Um, but if you're looking for body goals, it starts like within. Because if we're holding on to that stress and we're holding on to that trauma, we're always going to gain that weight because it has to hang on to something, right? So allowing that to happen and just being vulnerable and letting go of the ego, right? Letting go of the emotions, letting go of even the people that say, oh, you can't do it. You're
Yeah,
never going to be able to do that,
that's right.
right? Like let go of those people because those are the ones that are holding you back.
Oh, what a beautiful last thing to end on. Because let me tell you, this journey as we continue to raise our vibration, really, really nurture that wound energy so we can let it go, really, really
Yeah.
work on healing from our core wounds. That does help us elevate our vibration. That does help us rise up. And when we do that, we're no longer a vibrational match to some of the people in our lives. And what I hear over and over and over again, and I've heard this in a decade of coaching, is that we continuously outgrow people. And it can be challenging. It can be painful. We don't talk enough about that as adults, about how painful it is to end relationships and to move on from relationships and to have other people end relationships because they can't handle the growth that we have. One quote that I really, really love, and I'll end off with that, is your light is going to irritate a lot of unhealed people. So if you're on this journey as well, keep going. If people get triggered by you, that's not a reason to stop. I used to let that stop myself sometimes. I used to let that stop me because of this need to feel accepted and this need to belong. And I never wanted to be abandoned. And I would just ignore myself, ignore my intuition, and continue to stay in relationships that just felt ick, relationships that made me feel anxious as soon as I was in someone's presence. But not everybody deserves access to the healed version of you. They were maybe only meant to experience the wounded version of you. So I will leave it with that. I really hope that this was inspiring for those of you who are watching. Cyndie, thank you so much. Thank you so much for
You're
your
welcome.
time. Thank you so much for sharing. And I know that your story is definitely going to be inspiring for others. So I appreciate you very much. Bye,
I
everyone.
appreciate you too.